welcome to Yoga with Nicole. Today we're going to do a flow called Awaken Your Core. And when I say the word core, I'm not just referring to our abdominal muscles, which is a familiar reference, but I'm referring to the whole center of our body, front side, back side. So that means thighs, hamstrings, glutes, hip flexors, abdominals all around, and the low back. So we're going to do some movements and flows today to awaken our core so that we're really utilizing this power center of the body a little more than we might use our shoulders or our feet and ankles. So we're working on integrating the center of our body, strengthening and awakening that space so then the whole body as one unit can function the most efficiently. So let's grab 2 blocks as usual and your mat and a bottle of water, and I'll see you in a few moments. Welcome back to Yoga with Nicole for our Awaken Your Core class today. Go ahead and get into your seated posture so we can do our opening meditation. Get ourselves grounded and centered. As you're settling in, take your time, feel your way into your seat. Close the eyes or start to focus your gaze. Rest the hands on the legs. Gathering all of our attention, turning it inwards, focusing on the activity that is happening on our mats. Trusting that all other things will be dealt with when the time is appropriate and necessary, but right now we're committing to this next hour, to our practice, to our flow, to our breath. Breathing in and out, Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose, expanding the torso, lifting the heart, lengthening the spine. Inhale, stretch the arms out to the sides and stop halfway, palms turning down to the ground. We stay here, feeling the lift in the bottom of the arms and in the sternum and ribs. We lift the sternum and the ribs in the front of the torso while maintaining a neutral arch in the spine. So we have those natural curves in our spine, and as we lift, we want to make sure that we're not overarching in the spine, but we're staying neutral and lifted. Breathing as we generate heat within the shoulders. Keep the shoulders relaxed down toward the hips. Turn your palms upwards. Notice that external rotation as you rotate the palms. The rotation in the shoulders is initiated. And check in with your foundation. Press into your foundation, whether you're sitting in a chair, on your shins, or on your pelvis. Press down, lift up, and notice from that foundation, from the ground up, we're pressing down and lifting. So we don't have all of our energy up in the shoulders. Do this with me. Shoulders up by the ears, arms can lift. Take a deep breath in. Keep pressing from your foundation. Soften your shoulders away from the ears. So our strength, power, and energy is coming from deeper within. 2 more rounds of breath, in and out through the nose. Lower the arms all the way down. Tip forward into a seated fold. Lengthening the spine, reaching your tailbone behind you, reaching your heart in front of you. Come all the way up again. Shift your seat only if you need to. And we'll just bring some attention to our hands and wrists. Clasping the hands, rolling the wrists. Stimulating the fluid within our little wrist joints and bones. Reverse the direction of your circle. Stretch both arms forward, palms reaching out. Now push with your palms so you feel your shoulders reaching forward and your upper back rounding. Take a deep breath in and exhale, open your chest, pull your shoulders back, straighten out your upper back. Shoulder blades are squeezing in, and do that a few more times. Pushing forward, rounding the shoulders forward, and then pulling the shoulders back. The elbows stay straight the whole time. And imagine that we're pushing against a solid surface, either against a wall or the floor with the palms. Pause the next time your shoulders are dragging back and notice that sensation. Arms are strong and straight. There's no bend in the elbows unless you're hyperextending. Some people have that natural tendency to hyperextend. I can't really demonstrate that for you. But if you do, be mindful of that and add a baby bend in your elbows. Stay right here. Stay active. Shoulder blades squeezing in toward the spine. Pressing down from the ground up, lifting ourselves up from the core center of our body. Check in with your breath. Take another breath in. Exhale, hands down, tip forward. Bring your hands to your low back, wherever your seat is. We're just simply tipping forward. Let the chin fall toward the chest. And from here, come all the way down onto your back. We're going to do that exact same action. Stretching our arms out, palms pressing against the ceiling, and we lift, push the arms away, round the shoulders, and then drag the shoulders down to the ground, spreading the shoulder blades across your mat, elbows stay straight. Keep playing with that motion, pressing up, dragging back. Bring the shoulders down, press against the floor, keep the arms straight, and then activate your pelvis by reaching your pubic bone toward your chin, pressing your low back against the floor, and pausing here. Lengthening the back of the neck. Eyes gazing through the space between the fingers. Palms are flat, we're pressing against the ceiling. 3 more cycles of breath. Bring your knees into your chest. Hold on to your shins with your hands. Flap your feet and ankles. Rock around, massaging your back on the floor. Now we'll add on, sometimes I call this a dead bug or reverse tabletop. So we align the knees above the hips. Normally in tabletop, they would be below the hips. So we're just upside down here. Flex your feet. Stretch your arms up, palms against the ceiling. Lift your shoulders briefly and then drag your shoulders down. So the low back is pressing against the floor. Upper back is pressing against the floor. Arms are straight. We're pausing in our dead bug or reverse tabletop. Slow, steady breaths. Actively holding the posture, scan your body to notice if there are any spaces that are unnecessarily holding tension. There's a difference between action with intention and those spaces that are clenching, holding on to stress, holding on to bundles of unnecessary energy. Can you shift those spaces? Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower your arms, lower your feet, lift the pelvis, roll up into your bridge. Reach your tailbone toward the back of your knees. Lift the belly up toward the sky. Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. Separate the shoulder blades, one vertebra at a time. Slowly roll back down. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock and roll until you come up into a seat, or roll over onto your side and then come all the way back up. Now we'll flip over into our tabletop. Shoulders above the wrists, palms flat on the floor, knees below the hips. From tabletop, we stretch our right leg back. Lift your toes away from the floor. Keep the foot flexed so the toes reach toward the shin. Pause here. Drag your pubic bone toward your chin. We're lengthening the back side of the body. Keep that back leg parallel to your mat. Lift your opposite arm. Lift left arm forward. Thumbs up to the sky. Pause here. Slow, steady breaths, 3 rounds. In and out through your nose. Take another breath in and exhale. Step everything down. Round the back. Tuck your chin to your chest, tailbone to the back of the knees. Flow through cat-cow, moving at your own pace. Synchronizing your movement with your breath, arching and rounding, lengthening both the front of the torso and the back of the torso as you're transitioning. Come back to the center. We're using this core space of the body to lift us up out of our foundation, so we're not putting too much pressure on the delicate wrists and the knees. Stretch your left leg back. Lift your toes away from the floor. Pull them in toward your shin. Activate all of the energy within your core. Lift your right arm forward, thumbs up to the sky. 3 cycles of breath. Take another breath in. Exhale, step down, bring your big toes together, knees apart. Slow stretch back into child's pose. Reach your tailbone to the heels, fingers stretch forward, forehead to a surface. Expanding the low back and the belly with each inhale. You might start to notice at some point that you can actually expand your pelvic bowl with your inhales, sending your breath all the way through your torso, down, down, down. Stretch your arms forward. Inhale, rise up through tabletop. Exhale, lift into downward dog. Let's cleanse our palate with a nice big sun salutation. Inhale, look forward. Slow motion, tiptoe your feet forward between the hands. Pause there. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Either way, with knees bent or straight, we press our heels down to the ground, lean toward the toes, lift the tailbone toward the sky. Press the heels into the ground, lean your weight More so into the toes. Lift your tailbone to the sky. Bend the knees. Slowly roll up. Head and arms are heavy. Feel your feet pressing down into the earth. Unfurl all the way into your mountain pose. Close the eyes. Pause here. With your eyes closed, gently shift your weight left to right and right to left. Feel all edges of your feet. From the toes to the heels, from the inner edges to the outer edges. Feel your way back to your center. From your center, swing your arms out, scoop them up, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, palms to the ground, big steps all the way back into your plank or tabletop. Lower down, chaturanga. Lift up, upward facing dog. Elbows extend, pubic bone lifts up toward the sternum. Sternum lifts up toward the chin. Chin slightly lifts toward the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes. Lift up through tabletop or plank. Meet me all the way back in child's pose. Pause here. Re-stabilize the breath. Stretch your arms forward, grip your mat with your palms, lift into tabletop. Stretch your right leg back, lift your toes away from the floor. Front of the leg is parallel with your mat. We lift our left arm forward, thumbs up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbow and the knee, bring them underneath your belly, tap them if you can. When you're ready to inhale, open all the way back up, straight line from heel to fingers. Exhale, crunch. I call these tabletop crunches. Inhale to open, synchronize your movement with your breath here. We inhale to extend, we exhale to contract. Do not move from your contraction until you really squeeze out all of your breath and are ready to take another breath in. 2 more rounds. Lower everything down. Wag your body, wag your hips and your shoulders, your head. Gently tap the tops of the feet against the ground. Realign your tabletop. Stretch your left leg back. If you have an issue so far with your wrists, you can use your blocks. It takes a little bit of pressure off if you come onto your blocks and let your fingers dangle over the edge. Or an option is to come all the way down onto the forearms. Make sure that the shoulders are right above the elbows. Left leg back, lift the leg, flex the foot, right arm reaches forward, thumbs up to the sky. Take a deep breath in, long stretch. Exhale, round the back. Tap your elbow to your knee, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Using the breath with the movement to awaken our core, to stabilize our balanced tabletop. Two more cycles. Breathing in, breathing out. Don't rush the movement. It's okay if you do lose your balance. Just reset yourself in between and then proceed. Lower everything down. Tuck the toes. Lift into downward facing dog. Big stretch of the armpits back. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step all the way up into your fold. Heels press down, weight shifts forward, crown to the ground, tail to the sky. Bend the knees, slowly roll up. Keep your feet pressing down into the ground, roll the shoulders up, back and down, arriving in mountain pose. Pause here, eyes closed. Breath is steady. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, palms to the ground. Slow motion, this time tiptoe your feet all the way back to your downward dog. Inhale, look forward. Shift your weight so your shoulders come above the wrists. Adjust your feet as needed. We come into high plank. An option is to repeat what we've just done in our tabletop. You're gonna simply just go back to your balance. No crunches, we're just pausing. If you're in your high plank, another option here, because we're gonna frequent this posture throughout our practice today, is to lower down onto forearms and elbows, if that feels best for your wrists. Wherever you go, stay where you are. Keep pressing away from the ground, lifting yourself up with the rest of your body. 3 more cycles of breath. In through the nose, blow out through your straw. Thighs are active. Heels are reaching in toward one another. Lower the knees, bend the elbows, lower the chest. Upward facing dog. Big breath in. And exhale all the way down. Rest on your belly and chest, arms by your side. Make a fist with the hands and roll the wrists. Step your hands under your shoulders, next to the ribs, tuck your toes, lift up into your tabletop or through your plank. Meet me in downward facing dog. From downward dog, step your feet all the way together. Lift your right leg behind. Keep your hips squared to the ground. Be mindful if the right hip wants to open. Let's keep it reaching down for now. Take a deep breath in, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Pause in high crescent lunge. Bring your hands up to your blocks if you need to. Stay right here, active in the back leg, active in the pelvis. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, jolt yourself forward into your fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, palms down, big steps all the way back into your high plank. Remember before, in our regular tabletop and our reverse tabletop, we're pressing the palms against that surface, and then we're finding a middle ground for the shoulders. So you can practice that action either in your tabletop or your plank, rounding the shoulders toward the hands and then dragging the shoulders away from the hands. If you have shoulder issues, rotator cuff issues, come into tabletop and do some gentle movements from your tabletop, rotating the shoulders. Lower the knees if you're in your plank. Come back into child's pose. Swing your arms by your side, palms up toward the sky. Stretch the arms forward. Inhale into tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your feet together. Swing your left leg up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knee. Step forward between the hands. High crescent lunge. Knee is above the ankle in the front. Back leg is straight. We're active in the pelvis, so we're not so passively allowing the hips to droop down toward the ground. We're actively pressing down and lifting up through this whole core space of the body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. In our forward fold, we bend the knees, drape the belly over the thighs, wrap the arms around the back of the legs. Stop there if that feels great. Or thread your hands between your legs so the opposite hands or hands come to opposite shins. Wherever you go, with your knees bent or straight, keep pressing your heels down, lean your weight toward your toes, lift your hips toward the sky. Release your arms, bend your knees, slowly roll up. Slow, slow, slow. Pause in mountain pose. Focus your gaze. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, palms to the ground. Step back into your high plank right away. Shoulders over the wrists, front of the body parallel to your floor. Crown of the head reaching forward. Thighs are active. 3 rounds of breath in through the nose, out through your straw. These planks might add up to, 3 minutes by the time we're done with our full hour here. Take another breath in. Exhale, lower all the way to the ground. Lower your knees first if you need to. Upward facing dog. Press down, lift up. Lengthen the belly. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come down. Rest all the way against the ground, arms by your side. Palms facing up. Bring your breath back into balance. Step your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift up into your tabletop or your plank. Stretch back into a child's pose. Stay active. Keep your toes tucked. We're only staying for a full breath in and out. Come into your tabletop. Lift into downward dog. Downward dog crunches. Bring your feet all the way together. Lift up your right leg behind you. Big stretch of that leg. Straighten the knee, stretch the hip. Exhale, bring it forward. Now, come into your crunch, shift your shoulders above your wrists, and step your foot right between your hands. High crescent lunge. Pause here, use your blocks if you need to. Stay active in your foundation and in your pelvis. We're rooting down and lifting up. Slow, steady breaths. Let's add a little twist here, just for fun. Step your left hand down. Bring your right hand to your right shoulder. Twist your ribs and your shoulders, and then extend your arm up. Big breaths, wringing out the spine, wringing out the organs. You can look up toward that top hand if you prefer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hand down. Step your back foot forward, fold. This time, flip your palms up and turn your fingers in toward your toes. Pick up your toes and step onto your hands. Maybe the toes go all the way up to the creases of your wrist. Press your heels down, lean your weight into your toes. Let your crown drip toward the ground, hips toward the sky. Slow, steady breaths. Release the hands, lift up halfway, take a deep breath in. Exhale, palms to the ground, step back into your plank. Stay right here, activate your thighs right away. Lengthen your low back. Bring your low pelvis forward toward your chin. Take a deep breath in, we're lowering to the ground, exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, upward facing dog. Big stretch of the belly. Breathe in. Exhale, come down, tuck your toes. Reverse your way back up into downward facing dog. Step your feet all the way together. Lift your left leg behind. Keep the shape of your dog. Feel the shape. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, chin to chest, knee to face. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch, round the back. Keep the palms pressing down and forward. 2 more times. Bend your knee, bring it forward again. Shift your shoulders over your hands. Step right between the hands. Good. Come into the Crescent Lunge. Active through the pelvis. Stay here. Step onto the right hand. Left hand to left shoulder. Twist it all the way up. You can look down here, over to the side, or up towards your top hand. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hand down. Step forward. Shake the head yes. Shake the head no. Shake it all out. Bend the knees, slowly roll up. Pause in mountain pose. Feel your feet on the ground, close your eyes. Open the eyes, stretch your arms straight out, palms facing down. Soften the shoulders, down toward the hips. Keep feeling your feet on the ground. Rotate your shoulders, turn your palms up, and then bring your hands behind your head, clasping the hands, opening the elbows. What's important here is to lengthen your low back. So we'll add a little bend in the knees and a tilting of the pelvis, and then press the elbows back, reach the chest forward. So we're adding a bit of a back bend in the upper back. Pay attention to your shoulders here. This might be a little intense. Like I said earlier, if you have any shoulder injuries, any issues with your rotator cuff, listen to sensations. You can always come back here or come to our cactus arms if you need to. Our main focus here is to feel into the sensation of arching the upper back. We're so used to arching the low back because it has a natural arch as it is. But if we can protect that and just let the natural arch work as it is and add a bit of a more arch in the upper back, that also opens the chest, which might be a bit foreign to us with our daily routines and rituals of driving and typing and being closed in. So look, now we're awakening our core and awakening our chest muscles. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Shake the head. Walk your way over to the front of your mat. Open up into your downward facing dog. Bring your feet all the way together, lift your right leg, take a deep breath in, exhale, bend the knee, keep the shape of your dog, shift your shoulders forward. So now we're shifting the shape, step between the hands. High crescent lunge, stay right here. Back leg is long and active. Breath is smooth and steady. Reach your palms all the way down. Pick up your pelvis and then drag your front foot all the way back into downward dog. Lower your knees, come into child's pose. Taking a pause in child's pose to recalibrate your breath. Come all the way up onto shins and knees. I'm going to demonstrate this next thing on the other side with some blocks. So that is an option. That gives us space to move. So when we go through from our three-legged dog forward, we have a little more airspace to step. And you can also bring your blocks all the way up here or here, but that becomes a little less sturdy. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. We'll come into downward facing dog. Also be mindful if these are cork blocks, so they tend to stick a little bit easier. And if you have some instability in your shoulders and foam blocks, then you might get some sliding action. So pay close attention to that. We don't want to have the blocks slide out from under us and cause potential injury. Wherever you are, step your feet together in downward dog. Lift your left leg up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knee. Bring the thigh close to the belly. Shift your shoulders forward. Step between the hands. High crescent lunge. Stay right here. Slow, steady breaths. To reverse it. Press your back foot down, lift your pelvis, palms down, slide your front foot back into downward dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Slow and steady. Lower the knees, move your blocks out of your way. Keep them close by. Come back into child's pose. Connect your palms together, bend your elbows, lift your fingers up toward the sky. Stretch your arms forward. Inhale, lift into tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Separate your hands as wide as your hips, a bit wider, knowing that your hips and legs are going to go through that space between your arms. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, we'll tiptoe for this round, keeping the knees bent as you step your feet all the way through your arms into a seated posture. From your seat, keep your knees bent. Bring your hands behind your legs to start. Feel the base of your pelvis, press it down and lift up from there. Hands can stay on the legs or we might stretch the arms forward. We're doing that same action with the shoulders. We're not rounding the back, reaching the shoulders forward. We're dragging the shoulders back. Imagining an arch in the upper back, but don't force it. Don't beat yourself up if you are not really getting overly arched. We're not aiming for an overarch of any part of the back. So from here, with your hands on your legs. Another option is hands behind. We'll lift the feet away from the floor. Bring your shins parallel to your mat. Again, hands can be behind your hips or behind the legs. Base of the pelvis is pressing down. We're rebounding our energy back up from there so that our chest is reaching up and over the knees. Maybe your arms reach forward. Check in with your breath. Slow and steady. Squeeze your inner thighs in toward one another. It's okay if they're not totally pressing together. Just imagine that internal action. Take another breath in. Exhale, step your feet down. Step your hands behind your hips. A different kind of reverse tabletop here. We lift the hips up toward the sky. Let the head gently drape back. Keep some space between the chin and the chest. Hands are pressing down. Shoulders are rolling outwards. Shoulder blades squeezing in toward one another. Belly button, hips and thighs reaching up toward the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the pelvis. Lift the legs right away. Hands on the legs or stretching forward. Another option here is to use a block between your inner thighs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep rebounding down, rooting down, and rebounding up. Shins parallel to the floor. Check in with your breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, heels down. You can keep your block. We'll do another reverse tabletop. You can take your block away also if you don't like it here. Thighs, hips, belly button reaching up toward the sky. Big breath, slow and steady. In and out through the nose. One more breath in. Exhale, lower your hips. One more time. Keep your block if you like to. I'm going to take mine away. Come back into your boat pose. We call this one boat pose. If your body chooses, start to straighten the legs. Reach the toes up toward the sky. You might start to feel a little shakiness. Chest is still lifting up and over the knees. 3 rounds of breath. In and out through the nose. Cross your ankles, lower your feet. Shift forward, hands forward. Unfurl all the way up into your downward facing dog. Add movement into your downward dog this time. Whatever movement feels good for your body. Time to integrate some of this core action. Bring your feet all the way together. Lift your right leg behind you and up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knee. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Step between the hands. High crescent lunge. Right away, we're active in the feet and in the pelvis. Lift all the way up. Hands come to the hips. We're actively lifting our way up so that not all of our weight is falling down to the ground, which could put a little unnecessary pressure onto our hip flexors, but we're actively lifting up, sucking everything into the center line of the body. Using our whole core center to stabilize us, to balance us, and to lift us up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lean forward, step forward, and fold. Let your arms dangle to the ground, hands cross at opposite elbows. Release your hands to the ground, flip up your palms, turn your fingers toward your toes, and step onto your hands. Press down into the feet, Lift the hips toward the sky. Release the hands, lift up halfway. Big breath in. Exhale, palms down. Step or hop all the way back into your plank, through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Big breath in, big stretch of the hip flexors and belly. And come all the way down onto the belly. Arms by your side. Bend your knees. Swivel your feet side to side. Come back to the center, extend the legs. Hands by the ribs, tuck the toes, lift up, tabletop or plank. Come into downward facing dog. Step your feet all the way together. Inhale to lift your left leg. Exhale, bend your knee, bring it toward your face. Shift your shoulders over the wrists. Step between the hands. Stay active in the feet, in your pelvis. Come all the way up. Reach the arms up and pause. Stabilizing from the core. Extending that stability out into the legs and up into the arms. Add a baby back bend in the upper back here. You can keep your arms straight for this. Maybe you go back to that place we went to before, elbows out to the side. Slow, steady breaths. Take another breath in. Exhale, lean forward, tip forward into your fold. Bend your knees, bring your belly to your thighs, wrap your arms around the back of your legs. Maybe your hands thread through the center, holding on to opposite shins. Heels pressing down, hips reaching up. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Shake out all the extra debris that we don't need in our bodies. Release your arms. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, palms down, step back into your plank and pause. Remember, you can come into your tabletop and balance by extending one leg back, one arm forward. Wherever you go, lengthen the spine. Low pelvis tilts up toward the chin. Crown of the head reaches forward. Thighs are active. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift your pelvis, lift your pelvis, lift your pelvis into downward dog. Pause here. We're still lifting the pelvis in very subtle ways so that we're lifting ourselves out of our foundation. Inhale, come forward into your high plank. Arms are extended, knowing that we're going back into downward dog. Body is parallel with the floor. Take a deep breath in. When you exhale, round your low back, lift your pelvis, step into your downward dog. Flow through that a few more times on your own. Just play with the movement, play with the transition, knowing that the transition is just as important as the destination. We inhale from our plank, exhale, scoop the belly in, lift into downward dog. Keep going on your own. Child's pose is a good resting place if you're ready for it. And as you're ready, lower the knees, shift into your child's pose. Take your time to get there. Swing your arms by your side. Bring your hands to your low back, palms turning up toward the sky. Stretch your arms forward. Lift up into tabletop. Lift up into downward dog. Bring your feet together, lift your right leg, take a deep breath in, bend your knee. This time we're transitioning into pigeon. So the foot comes over to the opposite side of your mat. You lower the shin and the knee at a diagonal, that's okay. Maybe you sit on a pillow or a block under the right side. And we extend that back leg. Come into an upright position, whether you're up on a block or down on the ground. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly descend forward. You might stay extended in the arms. Maybe rest on the forearms and elbows. Listening to the low back, to the outer hips and the hip flexors on the front of the leg. Let your body decide how far and how deep you can get into this posture. The key is to really connect the breath to this posture. Focus on sending each inhale all the way into the body to the spaces that are feeling super tense and super unrelaxed. Stay where you are for a few more breaths and take a peek at the screen just so I can demonstrate an alternative if pigeon does not work for your body. You'll come over into your seat, cross your ankle over your thigh, and pause right here in a figure 8 posture. So we have two options to stretch the hips. Whether it's pigeon or coming into the seated figure 8. From pigeon, start to lift your chest up, walk your hands back toward your hips. Tuck your back toes, press down through the hands, lift your hips, lift your hips, lift your hips. Swing back into downward dog. If it feels really great for your body, keep lifting that right leg behind you, open the hips, bend the knee. Three-legged dog. Step back down, feet together. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, come forward, bend the knee, bring the foot across to the opposite side of your mat. Extend your back leg, untuck the toes. Lift up. Breathe in. Exhale, slow descend down into your pigeon. Stopping wherever your body wants to stop. Moving in slow motion so you can tune into those signals. Inhale, lift up, walk the hands back, press down, tuck your back toes, lift your pelvis, keep lifting, downward facing dog. Keep lifting your left leg up and behind, open the hip, bend the knee. Take a deep breath in, exhale, step down, separate your hands, make room for your hips and legs to get through your arms. Inhale, look forward. You can step like we did before, or you can do a little hop and swing. Coming all the way into a seat. Let's come into one more boat pose before we come to a close here. Root down, lift up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, feet down, round the back. Slowly roll all the way down. Coming onto your back, keep the knees bent, lift your pelvis, come into your bridge. One more bridge. Shimmy your shoulder blades together. 3 rounds of breath. Separate the shoulder blades 1 vertebra at a time, lower down to the ground, preparing for our corpse pose, Savasana, extending out the legs, resting the arms by your side. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Settle into the support beneath and within your body. Soften the face. Soften the neck and shoulders. Allow your breath to move at its own pace. This class today really deserves a longer Shavasana, so I invite you to stay here in your Shavasana for a bit longer, to really allow your body to integrate the benefits of your practice, to integrate the benefits of awakening your core and bringing attention and breath to that center region of the body so our limbs can support us throughout our days. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Namaste.